Dabura!
He is the king of the demon world. It is a shadow world that exists on the other side of this one, like two sides of the same coin. But in his dark demon world, Dabura is the strongest by far.
Due to Dragon Ball Daima taking us viewers through an adventure in the past to help us get more understanding of the demon world and on how this demon realm works, Dabura has kind of been put in the spotlight, and his whole realm for that matter. So I felt it was perfect to analyze him. Right off gate, you can kind of get an understanding of Dabura's muscle by just comparing his muscle to Gohan in the Buu Saga era. We know in an arm wrestling contest, if a Super Saiyan Gohan in the Buu Saga was to arm wrestle an early Saga character in their Uzaru Great Ape form, he would be able to overpower their muscle with his muscle. Everybody knows that. Despite Uzaru's being over hundreds of tons, just from the Uzaru's sheer size, they'd have to be as strong enough to lift their or support their own weight, or they can even lift more weight by the fact that Uzarus can lift gigantic boulders that way more than even them. And Super Saiyans can beat these kind of beings in arm wrestles despite their size and weight. Not to mention characters way back in the day can lift over hundreds of tons in Dragon Ball anyway, even the weaker characters. So we know Dabura can because we actually visually see his muscles clash with beings this strong. We visually see Dabura and Gohan's muscles clash, Gohan's even sweating. It's proven he can lift way over 1,000 tons. All this stuff just gets worse when we start adding in his punching power. He's a key manipulator type character. He can amplify his hits with ki. He can shoot out energy blasts. It just adds more fuel to his raw power. When we're watching Dragon Ball, we're on a journey watching the characters we love get stronger, progress, get more mighty as each saga goes by, training on screen, training off screen, blah, blah, freaking blah. And you can kind of get an idea of Dabura based on this argument alone. See, when it comes to blast power, punching power, and etc., this kind of power has been present in Dragon Ball even in the early days, and it just goes up from there. When you simply look at the opponents he has to box or fight it out with, Goku's son Gohan, for example, you can see him taking hits from him here, getting straight up hit from him here, blasting him, and damaging him here, Gohan looking nervous with sweat. This is crucial because power levels in the early days used to be a thing, but then it stopped being a thing. Back in these days, look at Gohan as a kid. Look at his power level versus characters this weak in the power hierarchy who has the blast power to destroy the entire moon. I'm talking about incinerated. Like, this is back in the day stuff, y'all. Gohan's power level is way higher than characters like this, and they can do this. Gohan has gotten Super Saiyan forms, gotten stronger over the years, y'all. He even surpassed his dad for a little while during the Cell Saga when Goku gave up. He was fighting an opponent he couldn't beat. And at this point in time, Gohan had surpassed him. Beings this low in, power levels less than 1,000 can incinerate planetoids. How much stronger do you think characters like this are when you see the power level difference? 500,000, they're way above that. This same being powered up even further, way astronomically higher than he originally was. Then the power levels just keep getting worse over the years when it comes to blast power, punching power. These androids by themselves have probably over 500 million power level higher than this guy each. Then these two characters combined power is in one guy. Along with his own power, this planet shattering stuff is just a joke. This is crucial because Dabura's power was outright compared to this guy at the end of the saga. Meaning he's stronger than these beings all the way from back here during this time period. Meaning that he's a Cell Saga Super Saiyan 2 tier being, a higher end at that. Like Goku and them would know. They were there during that saga. They would know. Matter of fact, Dabura even had his moments where he thought defeating Gohan would be too easy for him. It makes sense based on the writing style of Dragon Ball, him being that strong, being a character that he's a villain that appears after the saga previously. It kind of makes sense. He's not the main guy, but it makes sense with the writing style. Handbook straight up compared Dabura to Cell from the previous arc. Cell is a being 7 years ago that stated he had enough energy or ki to destroy the entire solar system with a blast. We clearly see Dabura's blast power threaten beings currently. So of course Dabura during the arc he's in, of course he has the strength to bust apart planets with his punches. Even some of the bigger planets in our solar system, he should have no problem destroying those as well via blast. Or even having the power to shatter more than one star. Or to put it very simple and frank, he could just create an energy ball that could destroy the entire solar system, including the sun, along with the rest of the planet. You could say he could do that too, just like Cell. You're probably thinking, how does him blocking hits from Gohan mean this? This is a punch, not a blast. Well, see, the thing about energy blasts from Dragon Ball Z characters, their energy blasts are as potent, but also is their strikes. Because we see these characters swat away these same ridiculous energy blasts with their bare hits, fists, and stuff, so they can hit as hard. So when we see these two beams struggle, just know Dabura could have done the same. But I do want to make something clear. Gohan during this time period was weaker due to him not training as much. So I know what you're thinking. How is it fair to compare Dabura if he's weaker than he was back then? So this is inconsistency? No, it's not inconsistency because during this time period, he was stronger than Cell by a bit. He was strong enough to overpower him in the beam struggle, while Cell was still Super Saiyan 2 tier, just lower than him. Him being weaker is like saying he probably went down to what Cell was back in this arc. That actually makes sense on why Vegeta was so frustrated. He admits he was strong, but he wasn't so strong to where he didn't believe he could beat him. During this time period, Vegeta was a Super Saiyan 2 tier, but it was a saga later Super Saiyan 2 tier. Same with Goku, because Goku and Vegeta's Super Saiyan 2 at this time was above previous arc Super Saiyan 2. So the statements are pretty consistent with Dabura being Cell, super perfect Cell level. I know what you're thinking. What the handbook says, Dabura isn't ready for that power when they surpass the level of Super Saiyan. Well, yeah, because this later arc version of a Super Saiyan 2 is way better than the Super Saiyan 2 from years ago. So that actually still makes sense with Dabura. This doesn't undermine his power in the handbook. I mean, Dragon Ball villains are so dangerous back in the day that there was villains that was a danger for the whole universe, or over time it was going to mess up the whole universe, or I guess a big majority of the universe, apparently. It's really hard to measure feats like this because they're just statements, but these characters, more than likely, if they would have left unchecked, would have destroyed the living or observable universe over time, apparently. You can kind of get a glimpse of Dabura's power in an alternate future, in Trunks' future alternate timeline. He was a decent match for Trunks, and Trunks in the future had to resort to using Super Saiyan 2 to power himself up to surpass Dabura, like a 7 years later Super Saiyan 2. I would say him being a super perfect Cell level being is definitely extremely fair based on all these occasions. But I do want to make it clear that Trunks still was able to beat him though, but during this time period in the future. But he's definitely strong as Cell Saga Super Saiyan 2 tiers, or Super Perfect Cell tier, with Team Gohan being above him. Because he's definitely not Super Saiyan 3 tier, with the Majin Buu tier being. It's a reason why the Supreme Kai was surprised that he can even be controlled by Babidi. He's consistently portrayed to be above Shin. He vaporized Kabuto. Dragon Ball Energy Blasts are known to be able to reach faraway places in an extremely short amount of time. Dragon Ball characters have gotten a lot stronger and faster since these old manga days. Dabura is fast enough to dodge blitzes from characters way faster. The character's having a hard time reacting to his speed. It's just clear. I mean, matter of fact, his speed is the reason why he was able to blitz Kabuto before he can even dodge or react. It's clear he's way above light speed and combat speed, just like the rest of the Dragon Ball cast. At this point in time, it would be weird if he wasn't. He's also decently versatile, probably due to his demon-like physiology. Being the Demon King, he has some different versatile abilities like fire manipulation or fire breath. You could argue he could beat opponents stronger than himself based on some of his hacks abilities like techniques known as stone spit or petrification. You could argue he could beat higher tier characters because of techniques like this. This seems to ignore durability. What is this? Turning you into stone, what does that have to do with your durability? I guess the only way you could technically block this would be like either dodging it or a character making an energy or ki barrier. I guess this would be a way to counter it. Other than this, if it touches your skin, wouldn't this work on anybody, technically? Like, imagine if he just spit on Whis, right? And Whis didn't try to block, dodge, put a barrier or anything. Would this actually be able to turn his skin or turn him into stone? That's an interesting question, isn't it? The only way to turn somebody back from stone is if somebody murks Dabura. Also, he seems to have a weapon creation, like how he made this sword, a spear. You can argue he's a weapons melee master. The fact that he's always making spears and blades. Do you respect Dabura? I wish we got more screen time with him, honestly, to see how he ruled over the demon realm. But before I get going, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for the donations, everyone. Yo, I really want to see what would happen if Dabura was to spit on Beerus or Whis with that turning into stone thing. Can they resist it, or does it work on any character no matter your power level? I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.